This NFL Picks Week 6 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers where you can win 100x. Plus, every Sunday they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And we're giving away $3,000 in our NFL Second Chance Survivor contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Productions. Free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
It's been a wild week since we've last spoken to you. I assume, like most of the audience, only shows up for the pick show. They're not here every night, like some of the degens in the YouTube chat. But if you're just if you're just a weekly picks guy, my God,
Why? What's going on, right?
oh, you missed a lot of things. Hopefully you tuned into VSiN, caught the Jordan Mason last touchdown.
Oh yes.
Hopefully you tuned into one of the many shows where I touted the maybe the sharpest play I've had of the season. Saints anytime defensive touchdown, 8-1. Hopefully you follow me on Twitter at Kramercentric. Get the sweet first touchdowns. George Kittle, Jacoby Myers. It's been a busy week.
The heater continues, Ryan.
ATS sides, dog shit, complete dog shit.
Well, you know,
both locks felt like I was on the right side. Got a little bone. Packers, Titans.
Oh man, I'm still annoyed at that Packers game. If you saw the highlight of Matt LaFleur jumping up and down on the sideline because what was it? Christian Watson was wide open and Jordan Love just throws it so late. That was infuriating. The Raiders team is not good. Like they did not deserve to win that game. And Jordan Love is one of the most frustrating quarterbacks to watch because one, he can throw the ball far.
Yeah,
two,
great arm.
He can run around in the pocket. Like I underrated his mobility, but he just everything is just so late and doesn't see it at the right time. And then the accuracy isn't there. It's just like, man, like he's close to being an awesome quarterback, but he has like 5 different things he needs to work on.
You want a hot take?
Sure.
I think some of these offenses I think we might have to. We might be circling around to coaches being too smart for their own good.
Yes.
Because I think some of what we're seeing, and maybe the quarterback's just a slow processor, but it does seem like we're trying to run software on a laptop that's a couple years old here, and it's not just Jordan Love. I think you can probably look at half the league and make this kind of accusation. Part of the reason why the Shanahan system working so well, right? Simplifies a lot of what the quarterback has to do. Maybe the processing doesn't have to work as well. Brock Purdy, maybe he's an old Windows 95 machine, but because Shanahan wrote that code so nice, it just operates, right?
He's like
going
one
on
of those,
a real tangent.
He's like
here,
one of those Apple computers, but he's Oregon Trail. It just works. Oregon Trail on the 5.5-inch floppy disk.
Can you imagine?
Producer Josh probably has no idea what I'm talking about.
No idea. Can you imagine?
He's like, what's a disc?
Imagine a time when a game wasn't infinitely long. Imagine if you had to spend your parents' money to buy tools in Oregon Trail.
Oh my God. My parents would tell me to fuck off so hard.
You're stealing money to play a fucking video game, or you wouldn't last a day in your own home, let alone school. That's how you get your ass kicked.
Oh man, we got so much to get to, Ryan. Let's start with the big announcement. Do we have some big announcement news? I think we do.
Oh, I think there's multiple big announcements.
Oh yes, there is. Well, first off, congrats to Jake, our merch god. He took home last week's Patreon pick'em.
We can be twinsies, Jake. Look at me. I'm
got
wearing
the sweet DGen University prize pack, and based off that, I was like, all right, I like this idea of a prize pack idea. So this week's Patreon pick'em, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. If you haven't gotten in already, I'm calling it, Ryan. What's going on over here? Oh, okay. I am calling it the Hippie Prize Pack. You got a 10-pack of the Sports Gambling Podcast lighters. You got one of our sweet backpacks with the SGP logo and an SGP.
Oh, hey guys, are we rushing the field around? Oh, hey.
Perfect for Colorado.
You're the man. Yeah, you are.
Perfect for Colorado Buffs fans. Or and look at that, youtube.com/sportsgambling podcast. Just a far out next level of amazing work by
Put this everywhere.
Josh.
Put this everywhere.
I mean, this is, where was this? God damn it. Why wasn't there a sports gambling podcast when I was in high school? This would have been so awesome.
Do you know how the tie-dye shirt came to be?
No.
I don't know. It might have been that Jake came across the idea of doing it for college, but then I had a request. Someone wanted one. So I was like, oh, perfect. This is exactly why it's important to have your own business, so you can create a tie-dye shirt with your logo on it. Which, by the way, Sean, tie-dye all the way back.
Yeah,
kids wear it. So things you would see if you were walking by the high school when kids are being. Yeah,
I don't really cruise a lot by the high school.
Yeah, you shouldn't. That's probably not a good idea, but I do because I'm dropping off my kid.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Totally cool.
That's cool.
Things you'll see: kids wearing washed jeans with
acid wash jeans
with Nirvana shirts.
What?
With Metallica shirts, Pearl Jam shirts.
Any Alice in Chains fans?
Grateful Dead shirts.
All right, I like that.
Any music that was popular between the '60s and the '90s. Tie dye, like I said, back. Ripped clothes, baggy clothes, retro shit. The mind is blown all the way. Cargo pants, Sean.
Really?
Back.
What?
Oh my God.
Cargo shorts. Back.
Cargo shorts.
Wearing anything tight. Loser. You're a parent. Get the fuck out of here. Anything like your skin. MC Hammer pants. Back.
No, you can't get the Hammer pants.
Yes.
What you got to get?
Wearing pajama pants to school. Back.
You got to get your daughter some Zubaz pants, right?
Actually, a good call.
Those are awesome back in the day, and I bet they would look. I bet kids today would love some sweet Zubaz pants.
Yeah, anything to fight the battle of this team sucks. Why do we root for them, Dad? More merch.
You need ammunition. You are reload. Yes, I've been doing a good job brainwashing my niece and nephews.
Oh wow.
And yeah, buying them stuff you realize is the easiest way in.
Get this weekend. We're gonna watch America's game when the Giants defeated the mighty Patriots.
All right, there you go, a little Patriot.
Well, no.
No, that's a Revolutionary War sound effect, Ryan.
But whose music is that though? Is that the British or is that American music?
It's true. It's just highlights the Revolutionary War. I saw a great meme today where it was and it was one of the meme accounts where it goes, it's pretty awesome that we go over to London for the London game. And we play the national anthem, which is all about how we fucked you up in the Revolutionary War and how much we love freedom and how you guys called something football, but then we go, no, we know something is actually football. It's a pretty nice flex by USA. So shout out to America.
Again, the commissioner just
stays undefeated. Commish. Right.
Real like not even trying to be funny, but if we just allowed Roger Goodell to represent our country against these other like sports commissioners, you saw the Spanish lady coach had to go down because he was inappropriately touching. All sorts. Anyway, imagine Goodell over there in Europe just dominating these strange tiny Italian and French men.
Goodell would take care of business.
He's a big guy. I mean, what do you think? Oklahoma drill.
No, low man wins.
What if let's get back to basics instead of gladiators.
Roger
we send
Goodell,
our commissioners and they do the Oklahoma drill.
That would be a pretty good battle, and like settling labor disputes via the Oklahoma drill. Roger Goodell, Troy Vincent, low man wins. I mean, maybe Troy Vincent is prime, but now he's getting up there, and Goodell probably has some size on him.
Small claims court. All right, we're gonna settle this the usual
The
way.
Oklahoma small claims court. All right, and we actually the big news continues. We have a lot of people reaching out going, guys, love the Survivor pick segment. Only problem is I'm knocked out of my Survivor.
You know what? Before you get to the big announcement, I do think people are starting to get resentful towards us that we're still alive in the Circus Survivor.
Well, Ryan,
Like it's annoying. So sorry, we're still around talking about it. I know last year we stopped talking about it
after week 1, but we decided we gotta figure something out. We gotta hook you guys up, and boy, have we! That's right, a $3,000 second chance NFL Survivor contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Productions. It's amazing. It is a gift from the heavens. It is manna from the gambling gods. $3,000 up for grabs. Winner take all. How are you not already signed up with this? sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. All you got to do, be subscribed to us on YouTube, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. That's right. $3,000 up for grabs. That's just awesome. And shout out to Barking Dog and Corey.
Yeah, not the first time that Barking Dog has assisted in the creation of sport.
Well, yes. If you remember, the last contest they sponsored was all the way back when sports were stripped from us. They were a big part of some of those sim sponsorships back in the day. So you know a real OG when you hear one, Ryan. Shout out to Corey.
Well, I know that logo so well too because I spent hours pre-programming NBA 2K
to get that on the
to
court.
have fucking college teams and our own custom goddamn branding. This is years ago. This is basically at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes.
Sport was changed because of us. Thank
Sport
you.
was
Thank
changed.
you, Corey.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Second chance Survivor. Yeah, I mean,
are we allowed to enter?
That's unclear. I definitely
We should enter just to flex on these fools.
And if there are multiple people that win it at the end, we will chop the pot. Whatever, however many people make it through the gauntlet, and it's just regular one a week. NFL money line, no special Thanksgiving weeks. That was too hard to figure out for us. So very, very. Again, I'm not going to explain Survivor. If you're listening to the show, you know how to play NFL Survivor.
Pretty simple. It's the simplest game. That's why
it really is.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah,
we want to make sure everyone's welcome. Not one of these complicated have to pick the spread.
Well, and also to be clear, it starts NFL Week 7. So I wanted to make sure everyone had a chance. Maybe you missed an episode, whatever. I want to make sure everyone has a chance to get in. So it's no picks this week, but it officially starts NFL Week 7.
All right. And you can sign up till Sunday, I assume, right?
Sunday?
Yeah, like if you missed the Thursday, you don't have to enter before the Thursday.
Sunday before the games.
You got to be able to pick the.
You do have to. You basically
actually, yeah. So I guess the deadline would be Monday night if you wanted to play one of those.
If you wanted to wait till the Monday night game I'm pretty sure the system would allow it. Don't quote me on that, but I would just sign up now.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs.
Yeah,
just get it done.
Don't overthink it. All right, we're gonna get to the picks. Before we do, shout out to Little C's. Love me some Little C's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL, the official pizza sponsor of SGPN here. Pizza and football, I would say they go together like chocolate and peanut butter, but that's nothing compared to football and pizza. Every NFL Sunday, you know where we're going, loading up on that 4-quarter calzone, loading up on that crazy bread. I'll be honest, I hadn't had crazy bread for a while, but now that Little Caesars was back sponsoring the show, I'm like, I got to get me some crazy bread. And it just took me back and reminded me of just how awesome it pairs with football. I am addicted to the pretzel crust pepperoni pizza. I haven't tried their Detroit style deep dish. That is on the list. Cookie dough brownies, those are awesome. The Caesar wings, very good as well. You just can't go wrong. And you can order online during our Pizza pregame 1 hour before and 3 hours after NFL kickoffs, plus all day Sunday. It is just delicious, hot, ready. What more could you ask for? Delivery or in-store pizza portal pickup. So grab some friends, grab some slices, and enjoy the game. Little Caesars pizza. Kramer, let's get to it. Let's get some picks.
See, people are already asking how to sign up for the contest.
sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Very easy.
There you go. It's almost like you said it out loud. Maybe I was just dreaming. All right. You want to talk real quick? Can I update on the Close Your Eyes special?
Yeah.
5-1 ATS, 4-2 straight up. Sean is 5-1 when picking Close Your Eyes special games against the spread. I am also 5-1 when picking Close Your Eyes specials games.
So you went in on the so it was basically the Giants and the Eagles games were the two.
Yes,
we're both doing pretty good with
both systems are working the same. Public that stretched out to 18, 13, and 2 ATS. Sean, they're just. The books are really sore in the back end, 22 and 11 straight up. Those are the big takeaways for me. And strangely, the teams coming off Monday Night Football 6-3 ATS. Surely that's a small sample size thing. This week, 3 teams underperformed the spread. Last week, the Cowboys, the Commanders. Colby's still out there. He's probably audibly saying, "Who are the Commanders?"
Oh man, this was hilarious.
And the Patriots.
So I was in the parking lot here across from our studio, and this dude rolls up to me and then puts the window down and he goes, "Oh, they're gonna choke anyway." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I got my earbuds in. I'm like, "Oh, what's up, man?" He's like, "Oh, they're gonna choke. They're gonna blow it." I'm like, "Oh, the Eagles had okay." Why? Well, who's your team? He's like, "Oh, I'm a Redskins fan." I'm like, "Where are you getting off? Rolling up on me, talking a bunch of shit." I go, "We just beat you. And you guys got your ass kicked at home against the Bears. What are we talking about?"
It's a pretty embarrassing loss.
Yeah,
it's definitely
it wouldn't. I mean, it's to the point where like I wouldn't go out of my way to start shit with like a very clearly, better.
I do kind of. I'm envious, I guess, in some regard of some of these sports fans that can just blink their eyes and be, you know what? Doesn't matter what I think. I'm just going to talk. I'm going to make this guy miserable. That's really what's going on there, Sean.
Yeah. Have you gotten harassed, Ryan?
Well, I mean, yeah, when you have a guard. So first of all, my gardener's a Cowboys fan. And he wasn't too chirpy this week, but he forgot
to chirp.
No. Well, I mean, yeah. He knew what was coming if he was going to open his fucking mouth this week. They just got their ass beat. People like to say there's also a couple parents on the old volleyball team. They're people like to be, but they also it's so bad that there's a little bit of hesitancy. I can tell that people realize that it may be a little raw because this isn't just, hey, your team sucks a little bit. This is, let's just take everyone out into the ocean and strap them to cinder blocks.
Kramer was on our boy Hoops Peterson's VSiN show.
Oh yeah,
and I was watching it.
Fucking guy.
Hoops just starts right in. How about those Giants, Ryan? And you didn't do the death in the family line. I don't think, right?
Well, you told me I was using it too much, so I had to move
I got
on.
in your head.
I had to move. I don't exactly recall what I said, but I do remember, and this is probably why Hoops loves me so much, but I think I just rambled for 3 minutes saying how this was therapeutic. Real quick, because you're talking about crappy teams. First coach to be so anyway, yeah, those 3 teams underperformed. Only the Cowboys are favored. So 2 Close Your Eyes specials this week, and first coach to be fired. Market. I figured we'd start looking at this real quick. Ron Rivera -200, McDaniels +375, Eberflus 5-1, Kevin O'Connell +650. Didn't expect that, and Brandon Staley 12-1. Those are kind of the real odds range.
Brandon Staley, I keep mentioning it. They don't want to pay another coach. The ownership is incredibly cheap. Yeah. I think that also works in Josh McDaniels' favor. Mark Davis doesn't have a ton of money laying around. I think Eberflus.
We saw Mark Davis.
Yeah, we'll get to him. He's a all right. We can do it now. This is a video, youtube.com/sportsgambling podcast of Mark Davis playing a slot machine at the Vegas airport. Truly a real meta degen. And supposedly
he's got someone handling his bags.
Suppose he's picking up. I think there again. I don't know the truth or what their relationship status is, but he is
his girlfriend.
She's like a 28-year-old social media influencer. So he was picking her up at the airport. I guess she flies commercial. Can't put her up in Jet Suite X, Mark.
Oh, I like, shout out to Mark Davis doing it right. He's going there early to make a little trip to the slot machines. This guy's amazing.
Hardcore degen.
Can I say Sean Payton is 50-1?
Yeah. They at least have the fuck you money. The Waltons, they might do that, but I think Eberflus is interesting at plus 500. Who is plus 375?
McDaniels. So Ron Rivera minus like 200, Eberflus 5-1.
I mean, I do think Ron Rivera is the first coach fired, but I wouldn't lay minus 200 on it right now.
Josh Harris would do it in season 2. Comes from the NBA.
Oh yeah, he doesn't
give
care.
a fuck.
No, he doesn't care.
Kevin O'Connell's an interesting one.
Yeah,
that's not sure where that's coming from.
They see themselves as like a classy organization who wouldn't do that. I think they would. Yeah, I don't see them firing a midseason.
Well, his offense has been fine. Just he failed to hire the right guy on the defensive side of the ball. All right, that's all I got, Sean.
I like it. Green Bay, get the trends up top.
Green Bay and the Steelers are on bye, so you won't get to hear Sean pick the Steelers this week. We'll save that for next week. All right,
Steelers won.
No, we've become a Steelers show, and so it's good that we're self-aware. Thursday night football, the Broncos, which by the way, the Broncos and Chiefs, they play twice in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, weird scheduling quirk.
Broncos head to Kansas City. Kansas City projected to be one of those public sides this week. Laying 10.5 here, minus 535 on the money line. Broncos plus 400. 48 is the total. Slight tick up from the look ahead of 10. And this is game number 1 on the slate where we expect some weather. So we have wind here. I think there's probably about a half dozen games you're going to want to monitor the wind situation to see if it's strong enough to really impact.
Yeah. What do we to me, it feels like 20 miles per hour. That's where
the data is, and I've seen a number of conflicting reports on the exact trend, but from an impact perspective, the thing that I did find that was a little bit more consistent is that in games where the wind is 20 miles an hour or more, the total has gone under by 3 points on average. So the impact being, if the wind is going to be strong enough, it's going to impact the passing game and the kicking game enough to limit points because they're not kicking extra point. Like, just think of it basically like 3 Cleveland games a year where the ball just you can't kick a 15-yard field goal.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be like, it potentially is going to have some of that in this game. I did fall down a rabbit hole. There's some guys on Reddit that have done a tremendous amount of work on stadium layouts relative to typical wind patterns to determine which stadiums are more impacted by wind patterns and which aren't. Kansas City lower on the rating in terms of less likely to have a crosswind, basically.
No.
Meaning crosswinds are worse than
for field goals, right?
Just in general, passing as well. The 20-mile-an-hour crosswind is the worst possible situation. It's like the end of the John Wick movie. It's right. It's gonna maximum difficulty. And so, even if the wind is strong, I guess it's potentially not going to impact, but it's also going to be wet. So could just turn into kind of a slog it out game.
But none of this matters. I mean, Patrick Mahomes
does it
11-0 against the Denver Broncos, 6-5 ATS. I predict that if things go poorly for the Broncos offense, which I think it could, I think Jarrett Stidham has a chance to maybe make an appearance.
I love this take.
I know on the
downside.
I know on the prop show. Yeah, I'd leave it wide open. And if he does show up, I told you so. If he doesn't, I go, yeah, Russell Wilson played a little better than expected. Adam Troutman, I do like in the any touchdown, first touchdown market. We gave out all our props on the Thursday Night Prop Show. Check that out. But I mean, the Broncos really struggle against good defenses, and the Chiefs have a pretty good defense. I think that to me is what's different about this Chiefs team. Top 10 defense, and then on the other side, the Broncos have a historically bad defense. 32nd in defensive pass DVOA, 31st in defensive rush DVOA. This is a crazy stat.
Pretty bad.
Opponent completion percentage 77.3%, highest through 5 games in the Super Bowl era.
They're giving up over 7 yards a play.
And I know what you're thinking.
Just think about that for a second.
They must be playing some amazing quarterbacks. Oh yeah, you mean like Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Howell, Tua, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson? Yeah, all gold first ballot gold jacket.
You like Zach Wilson?
I liked him in that game. Yeah, and I stand by that because they won the game. To me, you got to go Chiefs. Even though home teams haven't been great, ATS, you got to go KC minus 10.5. I just don't see the Broncos defense is so bad. We saw what Kansas City can do against a bad defense. I mean, look at the Bears. They just lit them up.
I think,
and the Chiefs are on a bad streak of the last 3 games they've played the Broncos. They haven't covered. So I think they're kind of due from that sense.
Oh, I like that too.
But Kelsey,
extend your trend out because even past Mahomes, it's 15 straight. Actually, yeah, it's which.
And you got to go back to 2015, last time the Broncos won in Arrowhead. I just don't see it. Even if Kelsey isn't 100%, he's dealing with that ankle. He's going to suit up. I think they get out to a big lead. There's always a chance Denver could backdoor, but you saw the quit on that team. It is.
They're going to be able.
You can't back teams as dogs who have quit.
Jets were able to run the ball. I think that the Chiefs are going to be just as effective running the ball. Big Pacheco game loading. I think Scott and we were all on various Pacheco angles. I think, but
yeah, and the Broncos, the tackling of the Broncos is just dog shit.
CEH last touchdown.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Save it for the VSiN show.
I'll save that for write that down. I'll save it. But also just worth noting, is there a version of this team that the locker room has been lost by both Russ and Sean Payton?
Yeah,
because here, listen to this. You know who was cut this week by Denver? Gonna slide through the cracks. Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Really?
That's one of Payton's guys.
Okay. That's worth noting because I was looking at him for first touchdown.
Oh yeah, he got. I think maybe going back to the practice squad. Dolchich is coming back, but I've read. I would say if you kind of poke around what the beat reporters are saying in Denver, Denver's one of those teams where they're either for them or against them. There's some clear team plans, and then there's everyone else. But everyone else, there's some hot take guys like that Albright character. That seems to be fairly plugged in. Alluding to the fact that Peyton has a long leash, but also alluding to the fact that ownership not happy with the embarrassment happening all over again. And so I do wonder, obviously I don't know. It's not, I don't know how you can just lay the points, but we have to lay the points.
All right. What are you doing then?
I'm laying the points.
Oh, okay.
But it's a divisional game. You're supposed to,
no, but this is a historically,
it's rainy. It's going to be a gross game. We're going to be,
it'll be like 27-7.
High regret factor on this one, but
no, not at all. Nope. I'm down.
Survivor pool possible.
Yes.
Even though it's Thursday night.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to London for the last time this year. I think it's the last London game. I think the other
we got a Germany one.
I think the other international games are in Germany, week 9 and 10, maybe. We got the Ravens heading over across the pond with the Titans. They're playing in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but they're not leaving. Which, by the way, that's the one with the American food. Per Billy, host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast.
It's delicious.
Baltimore this is their 3rd straight road spot.
Yeah.
But there's, and this is, if you listen to any content at all, you probably already know this, but the Ravens left straight from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
It sounds like they've put an extra bit of focus on the strategy of the travel. And if there's one thing that does seem to be consistently true, which makes the Tennessee plan even more hilarious, the people that choose to, like, even before I've never heard of a team leaving straight from the game before, but even previous years, it was like, oh, okay, we like it when a team goes over there on Monday or Tuesday. We don't like it when a team flies over there on Thursday or Friday. When's Tennessee going over there?
I don't know that to be true though. I feel like we've dove into the numbers and it doesn't actually make that much of a difference.
I don't know if we've said it doesn't make a big difference. I think last year we have some recency bias because CJ came on our show and said, "Hey, Kirk Cousins is a dad. He'll know how to do the trip last minute. Bang, bang, boom." I think if you look at some of the other situations where teams have left later, it's not been a good thing. And I think regardless of that, being acclimated for 4 days to whatever the new situation is going to be, in light of the way that Buffalo looked, and they were a team that left later in the week. They also like.
Yeah, but I don't think that was about when they left. I think it was the fact that the Jags were out there for 2 weeks and it was a letdown spot for.
Well, that's my
Bills.
point. It was
I think
the difference in acclimation to environment.
I don't think that had to me that was a letdown spot. Like I think they would have lost that game if it was in Jacksonville.
So you don't think it mattered in hindsight that it mattered that Jacksonville had been there?
Well, I mean that was part of my handicap. That's why I like the Jags. But I don't think I don't know if you're going out the same week. I don't think it makes a huge difference.
The supercomputer had a problem there. You're like, well, I did say that, so I have to agree. Yeah, I'm saying that I think I didn't account for it enough.
Okay.
And in review, I think being there for a long amount of time,
I think it probably helps, but it's not changing my pick on the game.
Oh, I think it's affecting my pick on the game.
Okay.
But again, I think just the idea that they're there for 5 days before the Titans show up, that matters
to me. The travel issue that's bigger is the fact that this is the third road game for the Baltimore Ravens, and teams that are playing on that third road game, they just lose straight up.
They didn't travel twice.
What do you mean?
They flew straight there. Like I do think that matters. It wasn't like they went home and then had another road trip later in the week. Typically, that's how that third.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I.
Why do you think that's stupid?
I don't think that. Okay, I
think it's diffusing their third straight road trip a little bit.
So if their third straight,
because they're regaining they're kind of gaining a travel advantage in a bad travel spot.
Okay.
So it's worth noting because typically I would agree with you that this spot is horrible, but I love.
But I'm
Baltimore.
saying like flying back to Baltimore and then flying out to like Miami. That would still be less flying than flying to London, right?
Yeah, but flying to London is not that. It's like a little bit further than flying from LA to New York.
Right. So to me, this is going to feel like a third straight road game for the Ravens.
Okay.
And I
but
like
you don't typically get to your third straight road game a week ahead of time. Is my point.
Okay.
So
true.
So wait. So Baltimore's laying 4.5 minus 195 on the money line. Titans plus 160. 41 is the total. So you like Tennessee here because you're going to lean into the Vrabel trends and the Lamar, all the trends that suggest Ravens bad favorite, Titans good dog.
Yeah, and I think the Lamar Jackson turnover thing is a real thing. He just continues to create turnovers. I think the Tennessee defense can create those turnovers. I think that's going to be the difference in this game. And I think if you bring a physicality with the run game, like you can with Derrick Henry against this Ravens defense, that's
bullshit. I watched that game last week against the Colts. He brought nothing.
Okay.
No pop.
I think he'll be able to bring the pop against the Ravens.
No Treylon Burks.
No, I don't think that doesn't make a difference for me. The third away spot for the Ravens is why they're going to not cover this game for me.
It seems like they were very aware of that, and that's what this was all about. I'm with you on typically the third road game. It's a horrible spot. Although I went back and looked, I believe last season both teams in that spot actually won the games straight up. Obviously, neither were in. No. What one? Are you sure? One was the Colts, which they definitely.
Eagles had a third road spot and they lost.
They lost. Okay.
Yep.
Well, you're very passionate about this third road spot.
No,
you're annoyed that I could possibly be on the Ravens.
You totally dismiss my angle. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I
didn't totally dismiss it. I
Okay.
explained. I gave a clear thesis on why I thought they were diffusing the travel disadvantage by being in the location that was a disadvantage to both teams a week ahead of time versus getting there a day and a half before the game.
Danger Aaron saying Lamar poops his pants in London. Yes, you're dealing with a completely different food situation.
Well, they serve American food here. We've been told.
Yeah, but do they cook it American style?
Ravens,
I mean, Lamar, you don't know what's going to happen.
This is the healthiest the Ravens have been all year. The offensive line is all the way back. We saw the passing game look pretty good at times last week. Again, he shit the bed in a divisional game where he shit the bed before.
Yeah.
And so, coming into this spot, I think
to me the turnover thing is why the turnover in the third road game is why I'm betting against him.
Cool. Lamar over in the passing props this week. Mark Andrews over in the receiving props. Zay Flowers over. Wash. All right. 10 a.m. By the way, perfect layout. NFL. Great jobs. We got 7 games in the 10 a.m. window. Enough for Red Zone to have the big pupil on Red Zone, and God's Eye can keep an eye on all 7 other games. Washington coming off a bit of a thumping. At this point, we have to think Sam Howell has a allergy to not getting sacked. Heading down to Atlanta, where the Falcons are -2.5 here, -150 on the money line. Redskins, aka football team, aka Commanders, +125. 42.5 is the total. Commanders mini buy. I don't know if it's a good thing. A lot of mean things were being said, but they are a close your eyes special.
Ryan,
Sean.
this is Sophie's choice.
Oh no.
Let's ask the audience. What will Ryan do? Will he pick his Falcons or will he pick the close your eyes special? Because he gave me a ton of shit for not taking the close your eyes special. He's also been on the Falcons every single time this season, even though they're not an amazing record ATS. Still sticking with your guys.
What do you mean?
I just saw our graphic and said they're 1-4 ATS.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were assuming I was going to take the Falcons.
No, I said you've picked them every time in spite of them not being great against the spread.
I'm going to throw the challenge flag on the graphic that he just flashed because and I should have thought harder about this, but that's not the record that we've picked the Falcons out on the show.
2-3.
Yes, which is better than 1-4, Sean. But in this case, it doesn't matter because I what do? I show up to church every Sunday. Close your eyes special. Can't ignore it. I hate that I hate that I got to do this.
No, well, this is why this is
horrible.
This is why the close your eyes special is great.
Sam Howell.
If it was easy, you wouldn't need the backing of the close your eyes special. If it was easy, everyone would be picking it. That's why you close your eyes, right?
But they might have quit. The coach might be fired. This might not be a good thing.
And this could be all right. So there's the stuff going for the Falcons. 4th in pressure rate. Desmond Ridder hasn't lost a home game.
Those are both things.
Sam Howell, 29 sacks. But on the other side, Arthur Smith since 2021, least profitable coach at home. ATS, he's not good off a win. 4-10-1 ATS. Really though, I think there's a nice little edge here, and that's the Eric Bieniemy revenge game. That's right, Eric Bieniemy and Arthur Smith were the last 2 candidates to be interviewed for the Falcons job. They kind of strung Eric Bieniemy along. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder. So for me, it's really just about picking the close your eyes special, but I think that could be what carries them. Give me the Skins +2.5.
You're not supposed to like the close your eyes special this
No,
week,
I'm
Sean.
talking myself into it. So
I do think that we saw some quit potential last week, and that's what it makes this super gross and concerning. The Sam Howell nugget about just only David Carr has been sacked more through 5 games in an NFL season. He's definitely contributing to his own demise. And I like the angle. If the enemy is one of those guys who just hates everyone, what doesn't he probably have a chip though for everyone in some regard? So maybe he goes hard here. Look, they just traded for Van Jefferson down there in Atlanta, Sean. I'm very excited about this this Falcons team, but I have to. I 5-1 ATS, the close your eyes special. It doesn't work if you pick and choose when to take it, like Sean, because you're bound to get off at the wrong time.
You picked and choose not to take it, or no? You stuck with.
Yeah, I stuck with it. You
Yeah.
didn't pick it twice, and you were been fortunate.
I'm 1-1.
Fortunate to fall on the right side of the coin twice.
You know.
By the way, Commanders, excellent teaser leg. I don't think Atlanta's capable of
8.5 winning by 8.5 points.
Does seem like a wide margin. Which, by the way, were you surprised that Van Jefferson got dealt to the Falcons? He's a good blocker. So,
well, Jonnu Smith right now is the leader in receiving yards. Our boy Tyler Algier continues to out carry Bijan Robinson. Yeah, their offense isn't great, but they can win ugly. But
Ritter was good last week.
No, it was one of his better games.
I'm gonna guess you didn't have eyes on that one the entire time when you were at the tailgate, but Ritter was better than he's been. And yeah, Jonnu Smith ankle injury. So let's fingers crossed that their tight end one is going to play this weekend. All right, moving along. A little NFC North matchup here. The Vikings head to Chicago. Bears also coming off Thursday night's little mini bye. This one 4.5 on the look ahead, Sean. Now the Vikings dropped all the way to 2.5. I guess Justin Jefferson. I almost said Van Jefferson, thinking of a different Jefferson. I guess he's worth 2 points to the number. -140 on the money line. Bears +120. 44.5 is the total. If you're watching youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast, has Justin Jefferson played his last snap as a Viking? The tank people are out there.
Oh, this is tank people love this. Oh yeah, he's gonna be like 2-8. What is he gonna do? Yeah, this is the NFL. We're not the Oklahoma City Thunder. This isn't the National Basketball Association. Teams just don't randomly tank. It would take something crazy for him not to go out there and play, assuming he's healthy. Like, yeah, maybe he takes a couple extra weeks to come back, but dude, he just got paid a massive deal. I don't think he's going to hold out.
Jefferson?
Yeah.
They just picked up his option.
No, he just, I thought, didn't he get paid?
He turned down the mega deal because there's no quarterback certainty in Minnesota. And so producer Josh was trying to get in my ear before the show about how he would just sit out the rest of the season. Now they were asked, I think O'Connell was asked if he's going to come back this season. And he said they expect him to.
Yeah. 4
to 8 weeks is the number they put out there, and I've heard people compare it to the Cooper Kupp situation, which obviously wouldn't be a good thing in terms of the injury.
You like that?
Well, Kupp only missed 4 games
last year.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about this year.
Talking last year. So yeah, I mean, interesting to me that the number moved 2 points based off of probably just this injury news. Maybe it moves a little bit because Bears are back, baby. Justin Fields is slinging the rock. This feels like you're buying the Bears at their absolute high point on the season.
Yeah, but the counter would be, can you take the Vikings as a road favorite? My answer is no. I like the fact that the Bears are getting that extra rest. They're getting some of their guys back. Cornerback Kyler Gordon, center Doug Kramer back at practice. Safety Eddie Jackson, cornerback Jalen Johnson limited. They're coming back from IR, so maybe they get out there. I cannot take this Vikings team on the road. I think the Bears have a little bit of confidence, and if we've seen anything out of Justin Fields, it's that he can play okay against pretty bad defenses. He's 8 passing touchdowns in the last 2 games. I don't think he's going to do well against good competition, but what have you seen out of this Vikings defense that makes you think it's good competition? And the Vikings offense has really sputtered as of late. I mean, they put up 6 points on the road against the Carolina Panthers with Justin Jefferson. They don't have much going on their run game. I get the Bears aren't a great team, but I think, and Cousins hasn't been good against bad teams. He's 11-20-1 ATS versus teams with a winning percentage of 33% or less. I actually like this spot for the Bears. I'll take them as a home dog.
Yeah, they scored some points against the Panthers. I know they got I think the Panthers might have gotten a defensive touchdown, but
no, so did the Vikings.
The Vikings still put up a couple.
Oh, you're right. They put
touchdowns.
Up 14.
Yeah, I think, obviously we've discussed it on this show before, but the turnovers, the regression is coming.
Oh, it just keeps coming because
Brian Flores, like, for the record, I didn't say you're a bad defensive coordinator. That was Sean stacking the money green.
Has he done a good job as a defensive coordinator?
I think he'll be able to do a good job here. I think Justin Fields' major problem is he holds on to the ball for a long time. And so last week when he was not pressured at all, and maybe that's a product of the offensive line, but I'm willing to bet it isn't. I'm willing to bet it was just something with the quit factor on that Commanders team. And so I'm on the Vikings. I really, though, it started just purely as this. It just seemed like the price. I told you, Sean, I had been reviewing the process, and I just wasn't. I was getting too far away from the market dynamics.
Really?
And so I'm back.
I feel like you've been too locked in on market dynamics,
and I would never buy this Bears team at a high point. Sean, you saw it earlier, but Justin Fields, he's 1-4 ATS and straight up coming off a win in his career.
Yeah, about to be 2-4.
Big time.
Small sample size if you're talking Justin Fields wins,
well,
right?
Of course, it has to be. But I wanted to go on a quick tangent because we're talking Bears, and I wanted to go find out what happened to that defensive coordinator that was just erased from history.
Oh yeah,
and of course Reddit, great place to go. And I got into a thread. I'm like, oh, this looks promising. Maybe I'm going to find something out. And it turns into hey, why is the media just forgetting about this guy, Alan Williams? No one's asking questions anymore. And then out of nowhere, familiar pineapple 28 comments. Same here. It's unbelievable how quickly the media forgets things. Remember all those mysterious flying objects that were getting shot down over Alaska and Canada several months ago? Trying to find a single article about whatever came of any of that. Quote, weird, random, unidentifiable objects were just flying around and our Air Force shot them down. End quote. Normal day. ... End of story. This is about a Bears defensive coordinator. Like this is
you get off on a little tangent.
He just had to fire off his which by the way, maybe things were getting shot down, but they're not for us to discuss right now. So I'm on the Vikings.
Nice.
This isn't prime time. This is Kirk Cousins against the bad defense. Even if they get their healthy guys back, you know what's concerning me?
You like that?
This could be a rain and wind game.
Oh yeah, weather factor.
I think probably less likely to have impact than Kansas City. Also, Jordan Addison popped up on the old injury report, which I think they're going to kind of need him if Jefferson isn't going to be there, which he isn't. Yeah, so that would be
Kirk Cousins on the road, no Justin Jefferson, weather, and Jordan Addison banged up.
I don't think it's guaranteed horrible weather, but I think there could be a little bit weather. Okay. But yeah, I think Brian Flores against Justin Fields at a high point. Sure, I'm not buying in. I also think this could be a little bit of a shootout, not a total guy, but
really
there will be points in this game.
All right.
Have you watched the Vikings play football?
Yeah,
points are scored. Points are scored. Have you watched the Bears play football?
Yeah, they put up 40.
So you're gonna have you're gonna say Vikings ugly football, Bears great. That's recency bias. You're explaining my point perfectly.
I would say the Bears against bad defenses. Play Justin Fields against bad defenses. He plays well.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to walk through the schedule?
They just won their first game in like 17. So.
Right. They've played 5 games. He played pretty well against the Commanders. He played really well against the Commanders and pretty well against the Broncos. Fumbled away that late.
They lost to the Broncos. That's a great point. At home.
Yep. That was a different team run.
Okay.
Wasn't a division game.
Okay.
Hey, I was trimming my pubes the other day and I thought, wow, this is pretty awesome. If only I could use this to trim my beard, but I don't want to use the same trimmer for my pubes and my beard. What am I to do? Can I get some relief? Thankfully, Manscaped comes in with the beard hedger. Love the beard hedger. It's a high-tech piece of art in a travel size package with a long-lasting battery, universal charging, and a strong motor. Who wrote this copy? John Madden. This sounds like something. He has a beard hedger. He gets in there. He's
one of those guys who will get penetration.
He on the road. He just keeps coming and coming and coming. Love the beard hedger. All joking aside, and the handyman too. For you guys who like that Jimmy G, that stubbly look, nice wet dry shaver as well. You can use it anywhere. It's a guy who's hitting the road every Friday night for these VSiN shows, 9:00 Pacific. This thing has been a game changer. Love all the different Manscaped. Yeah, they got like crop preserver. They got all these different euphemisms for just making your junk smell better. Your beard nice and shaped up. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SGP at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code SGP for a look as sweet as candy. Get yourself the handy man from Manscaped.
Last thing I'll say about the Bears: do you think Johnson Roscon plays, or you think it's a Deonta Foreman game?
I think it's a Deonta Foreman game.
Yeah, I think I'll be firing a little Deonta Foreman this weekend.
I think it's a Justin Fields rushing game.
I like games. I like getting in this game with a stack, some sort of stack. All right, Seattle coming off their bye. So first week we're talking about teams coming off the bye. They're heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. This was 2.5 on the look ahead. Now it's 3, minus 160 on the money line. Seattle plus 135, 45.5 is the total. You know, last week again, reviewing the game tape. Definitely should not have not taken the Bengals. That was bad.
Yeah, I tried to let people know on the show that Joe Burrow was healthy and he was gonna light it up. Wow, and you saw that.
Yeah, I should have listened to your 100% hit rate on injury news. I always get that wrong. I always get that wrong.
All right.
Apparently he's healthy.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, I think he's healthy.
If he's healthy, this isn't the right number. Gino's awful. I think coming off the bye.
Gino's. Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're talking yourself into the Seattle Seahawks, it's one. Pete Carroll as a dog, that's usually a pretty good time to get in. Even Gino as a dog, he's 20-14-2. You could talk yourself into Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Chidobe Awuzie is out for the Bengals. Maybe I'm not sure if he's coming back. Either way, he's not going to be 100%. You know, the Bengals, not great rush defense, 31st in yards per game on the ground. 154 yards per game they're allowing. So you could talk yourself into DK Metcalf, Charbonnet, Ken Walker going off and really being able to move the ball on this Bengals defense. I guess I would just counter and say, I think Joe Burrow is back. I like Joe Burrow at home. I like Joe Burrow in this situation. He is really good as a favorite if it's not a massive number. I think there's still some hesitancy. People are like, "Hey, we got to see it again. We saw it against the Arizona Cardinals. Let us see it again against this Seattle team." It's a non-conference road spot for Seattle. I think Cincinnati's still a desperate, wounded animal. They need to get up to 500 here with the victory. So yeah, I like the Bengals.
Yeah, it's kind of how we predicted the Bengals would start. A little bit more drama, but they start slow. Once they get going, they'll start picking it up.
Yeah.
And I think specifically, I guess the matchup that I would be concerned about is since he has struggled against the run a little bit at times. Yes. And Pete Carroll, this team generally they'll come at you with some creative attempts to I would imagine they're going to attack this Cincy defense on the ground.
Yep.
And that's
they're missing their corner. They could. The formula for Seattle winning, I think, is pretty simple. Like they just run it down their throats. Gino doesn't turn the ball over, and maybe they get a turnover off Burrow, that kind of thing. But look at the other side. Like I think you can throw on this Seattle team, 25th in pass DVOA. I think there's going to be some opportunities for Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, maybe even Joe Mixon out of the backfield a little bit. I think this is a good continued get right spot for the Bengals and their offense.
Yeah, I mean they did give up 27 points to Andy Dalton and the Panthers. Yeah,
I mean that game's a great example of like their pass defense. If you're not afraid to put it into tight windows, and the Bengals receivers are going to get much more separation than the Panthers are. Now, the coming off the bye thing throws things off. Carroll's a dog. Normally not like when I want to fade him.
Pete Carroll, nothing spectacular. I was surprised to find out that the off the bye stuff with Carroll is like nothing.
He's 52, 35 and 3 as a dog, 4th best in the league
as a
since
dog.
He joined Seattle. Yes,
I'm saying the bye.
No, yeah. I was just pulling the actual number on the Seattle.
Yeah, certainly. I just you're not getting any sort of discount here. I think Cincinnati. What was this? Let me pull. I have it. I have the tab open, so I'm going to pull it up. But what do you think the line was before the season in this game? Oh, man, what the
I
heck?
would say probably like 4.5.
Everything's wrong now. This is blocking.
I would say kind of, yeah, I think 4.5 sounds about right. I mean, I thought the the -8 to -3 was a crazy overreaction last week against Arizona. This to me, this feels about right. Like I would probably make this 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, that's my point. It's not. It's less than 3.5. And so to me, if I was coming into this game, and now that I'm actually looking at it, this before the season was 4.5.
Yeah.
And so easy peasy. I don't see what's changed. If all that's changed is Burrow has gotten back to the original what we thought he was going to be guy, then why is this not 3.5?
I think there's still skepticism in the market.
Cool. Cincy -3. Next up, San Fran, the 49ers. Once again, they're continuing their streak of being a public team. They keep covering. I keep hearing people talk about how they're off the chart in terms of power rating numbers. They're heading to Cleveland. Cleveland coming off a bye.
Yeah,
lots to talk about here. This was 3 on the look ahead. It's now 7. -325 for the Niners, +260 for the Browns. 37.5 is the total. If you're seeing it on the screen, but McCaffrey has scored in 14 straight games. 15 straight would be an NFL record, which is pretty wild. And what the heck's going on with Deshaun? He was barely like, maybe he's going to play, maybe he's not going to play. Now we're a game and a bye week
I'm
after.
not touching Deshaun Watson.
And not only are we not sure if he's going to play, the Browns decided this is 2023. We got to announce our backup quarterbacks. The Browns announced that their backup quarterback is no longer DTR and it's PJ Walker. Shout out to the Houston Roughnecks of the XFL. I don't know what to think about this. This is the game. This is the game you circle. There will be wind in this game.
Yeah.
I think if there's a game outside of the Chiefs game on Sunday or outside of the Chiefs game, which is Thursday, but if there's a Sunday game, I'm circling and saying weather will have an impact. It's the Browns game. Every trend is going to point to you taking the Browns here.
really. I mean, there's a lot of
at 7, absolutely.
Christian McCaffrey against the spread, Brock Purdy against the spread, this Niners team in general against the spread. Like there's a lot of strong trends, I think, going for the 49ers.
Oh, maybe, but also this is a non-conference road spot. This is a tough home divisional situation that gets completely wrecked by the quarterback situation. I don't know what this number would be if Deshaun Watson was playing, but that was a smash spot for the Niners. Moving the number all the way down here with a quarterback that I don't know is any worse than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think you're getting a nice value here with the Cleveland Browns defense, number 1 in pass defensive DVOA, number 3 in rush defensive DVOA. You're going to get their best effort. You're going to get a kitchen sink game from this Browns team. And do the 49ers need this game? It's a non-conference road game. You just blew out the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone is on their knees servicing the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, you guys are so great.
You saw that Instagram post?
Yeah, you guys are so great. You guys are amazing. Browns defense, opponents are only converting third downs at 22.6%, lowest percentage in the NFL. I think this could be a little wake up call for Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. I still think there's a physicality about this Browns team. And you look at the offense with the 49ers, like George Kittle, who had a great game offensively with the 3 receiving touchdowns. I think he's going to be in there to block a bunch, because if you're not chipping Myles Garrett, I think you're going to be in trouble. So I think that limits some of the stuff they're going to be able to do offensively. And I think they're going to be able to somewhat limit Christian McCaffrey. So I like the Browns here +7, especially with PJ Walker, who has looked competent at times. And to me, massive step up from DTR, who looked in his first start pretty lost. If this was DTR, I think I would probably take San Francisco -7, but
Preseason
PJ Walker is at least competent enough, I think, to execute this game plan.
Yeah. So, and again, the consensus seems to be saying that if Watson's playing, it's 3, which I'm going to say probably more like 3.5. And if he's not playing, I mean, if he doesn't play, does this get to 7.5? I guess that's the only question.
I think this is factoring in PJ Walker as starter. Maybe it gets a little higher, but I think this is because they went out of their way to announce PJ Walker as the backup quarterback. That
so
to
weird.
me is signaling that they are starting PJ Walker.
Yeah. Home dog trend. I think it was on the screen. Teams coming off buys in a home game as a dog. 29, 17-1. Good for 63% ATS since 99. You nailed it, right? There's motivation here. There's letdown potential for San Francisco, and just how many times can they win as a massively public team? Although last week I'll push back a little bit. Maybe the Cowboys were catching some action too. This is I would say this game I'm going to put right up there with Kansas City in terms of potential regret if the Browns are looking like the team that showed up against the Ravens before the bye week. All right. Are you feeling good about this if Watson somehow plays? Or are you like, oh shit?
Well, if I got it at 7, I guess, but I don't like Deshaun Watson. I think he turns it over a bunch.
He's got a bruised rotator cuff.
Yeah, and
the hell is that? How did you do that?
And if he's playing, it means he's not 100%. I would rather 100% healthy PJ Walker, who I'm sure they knew he wasn't going to. I'm sure they've been preparing him the entire bye week for this start.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
When did he sign with the Browns? Do we know that?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I feel like I one thing I didn't do. I did see unrelated to PJ Walker. I did see Colt McCoy was working out for the Vikings. So backup quarterback season has begun.
Brown signed quarterback PJ Walker to practice squad. This is August 30th, 2023. So he's had enough time to learn this.
And what do we know about Stefanski's offense? You just need to not fuck it up.
Yeah.
Can you not fuck it up? Don't be DTR. He did a bad job. Next up, Saints come another back-to-back road spot here. Saints also looking ahead to Thursday night football against the Jags. They're heading to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans off a loss against my Falcons. They were catching 1.5 on the look ahead. Now they're catching 1.5 plus 105 on the money line. Saints minus 125. 42.5 is the total. No effing clue why Dennis Allen and this Saints team is favored here.
It's interesting. Like the Saints as of late have actually been better straight up on the road than at home. If you look at like the last few years, it's a weird quirk, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't like this Saints team in particular on the road. Last week, I think it was a different situation getting on the Saints mostly as a close your eyes special, fading the Patriots. I had no idea they would destroy them by 34 points. Maybe that score was a little misleading, but still the Patriots were never in that game. Derek Carr is a road favorite, not something I ever want to buy into. Dennis Allen as a road favorite, head coach. No, thank you.
You saw that nugget of him off of a win, 3-12 and 1 ATS.
Don't want any part of that.
Maybe that was straight up.
Yeah, Saints to me are not a team that should be a non-conference road favorite. Coming back to the side on the Texans, looks like they might be able to get Laramie Tunsil back.
Huge.
That would be really big for them. They will be without Tank Dell. That's unfortunate.
You know why it doesn't matter? John Mechie, baby.
Okay.
He came right in, filled right in. Also, they activated or they designated Noah Brown for return. Another receiver in their stable of mini Ferraris, we'll call them. Yeah, I mean, this is the John Mechie game. This is the game where we're challenging DeMar Hamlin for that comeback player of the year because we're like, oh,
John Mechie is alive, Ryan.
John Mechie.
Do we have film of John Mechie dying?
No, but can't. Like I've said this
Does
many times.
NFL films have video of him dying?
How many NFL fans have died and been resurrected? Not many, but a lot can relate to cancer. So
well, thankfully the fans aren't voting,
but the reporters are. And they can relate.
They hate the fans.
They can relate.
If anyone, the reporters are like, "Oh, I'm so better than these dumb, stupid fans." You're leaning into my point. They're like, "Oh, yeah, they probably want me to vote for John Mechie." No, thank you.
So you think DeMar
I'm Peter King. He survived death.
DeMar Hamlin's locked it up then?
I mean, I'll keep reiterating this. Yes, DeMar Hamlin will win comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Talk to me after they spend 20 fucking minutes on the broadcast between the Bengals and the Bills celebrating Damar Hamlin. If that game happens and there's no mention of Damar Hamlin, I'll feel worried. I'll change my stance. Until then, I think he's winning comeback player of the year.
Chris Olave also for the Saints. Whatever he did to himself last week, he didn't look himself.
Yeah, he's dealing with like a toe thing, which as a receiver sucks because they kind of like play through it, but they don't quite have that burst. They're not quite running as hard.
He didn't look great.
Is a back-to-back road spot for the Saints. This is I really like the Texans here.
Yeah, easy. And also CJ Stroud. Turns out I was right so far. Looking
186
electric.
passes without an interception. That's crazy. Yeah. Fourth most, and it's also crazy because it's not just like stupid check down stuff. He's fourth most in intended air yards.
Yeah, I believe that's an NFL record. Start a career.
Yeah.
All right. So can I say something out loud?
All out.
A lot of these, as I was creating the sheet, it really they just were like, oh yeah, well, obviously this is the side you'll take this week.
Me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, like you, like Ryan, like the sheet was speaking to me.
Yeah.
A lot of obvious spots. And by the way, Houston, ooh, what a great teaser situation. Colts head to Jacksonville, hit the flowchart sound effect. Because the Jags, while they are looking ahead to Thursday Night Football, they own the Colts in Jacksonville. This was 5.5 on the look ahead. For some reason, people are betting the Colts with Minshew down to 4. This was 7 before the season, Sean. All over the place. Jacksonville minus 200 on the money line. Colts plus 165. 45.5 is the total. Just look at the screen, Sean. The 8 straight they've won and covered against the Colts in Jacksonville. Okay,
which is
moving on.
No, well, I mean, I think it's worth talking about. What about Trevor Lawrence 0-5 as a home favorite?
Yeah.
So they cover when they're a dog, when they're unexpected against this Jags team, but now the tables have turned and the Jags are the dog in this situation.
But they also won all those games.
Right.
No, I'm just.
Yeah. I think the Jags could win and not cover this game.
Okay. But why? So you think you agree with the people that are coming in betting Gardner Minshew and this Colts team?
No, I mean, this one's tough because Minshew, it's weird. He's looked good when he comes in mid game.
He's a relief pitcher,
but then when he has to play the entire game against, and granted that was Baltimore, so their defense is tough, but he did not look good. He did get the win outright against the Ravens. I do think the Jags looking ahead to Thursday night. You got Jonathan Taylor. They're finally going to unleash him.
Shaq Leonard back. Could he pay back?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna actually go. I don't love either team on here. I'm gonna take Indy +4. This feels like a field goal game.
You're not gonna mention the Minshew revenge game?
Gardner Minshew revenge game. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't mention that. This to me is now. Grant, I do think I'm not gonna. Colts is a live dog. Is it intriguing? But them catching 4, I think, is the right play.
So you're just gonna spit in the face of the flow chart.
No, the flow chart is straight up. It's not ATS.
What are you talking about? That stat was ATS and straight up.
I like my own nugget that Trevor Lawrence hasn't won as a home favorite. Until he does, I'm not going to back him as a home favorite. That's
okay.
my.
So then you are going to
creed.
spit in the face of the flow chart.
Sure.
Okay. Wow. Just things that are older than time themselves just being thrown out here. One last thing, you might want to fade the Colts. Here's why. Guess who they signed to their practice squad? Because it sounds like AR-15 might be done for the season.
Really? It's that bad? 4
to 8 weeks. And that they aren't saying he's not done for the season. Like some of these other players where you're getting the news break. Devin Achane not done for the season. Hey, expect him to be back. They didn't say that with Anthony Richardson. So people are suggestively saying, hey, maybe he's done for the season. Kellen Mond on the Colts practice squad.
Okay.
All-time loser. Remember when Mike Zimmer was asked if he needed
I've seen enough of Kellen. Any Coach Zimmer, any chance you want to see Kellen Mond there in the game? He's like, I've seen enough of him in practice. It's like, wow, okay, Zimmer, geez.
Apparently
throw him under the bus.
Apparently the Colts haven't seen enough of him. Yeah, this is crazy, Sean. You're taking the Colts. All right, give me the Jags laying 4.
I'm dialed in, Ryan. Dialed in.
I think the Jags defense slowly getting better, and I think the Jags on offense. A little worried that Zay Jones may be out, but Kirk, Ridley, Ingram. I kind of think they might be able to get it figured out against the back end of the Colts. And so if their defense can be sturdy against the run, I think they'll have a good game here. Because like you mentioned, Gardner Minshew, he's a finisher, not a starter.
Hey, just a friendly reminder: the show is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's right. How many times have you thought like, "Hey, something is good for me," but instead I'm going to do something bad, something that sabotages you, whether it's having an extra beer, maybe you have issues with food, starting an argument when like, oh, why am I doing this to myself? There's so many times where we're animals. There's so many times where your brain gets in its own way, and talking things out is a great way to handle that. There's no shame if you're dealing with stress. You got like a sports gambling podcast company stressing you out. You got a bunch of bets stressing you out. Whatever it is in your life that's stressing you out, talking to someone really can be beneficial. And again, if you're thinking of starting therapy, BetterHelp is a great way to get started. All those excuses you have for therapy, like, oh, I don't want to go to a therapist's office, the parking validated, do all that stuff. They've made it way easier. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. They do fill out a questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find someone that you can actually chop it up with, have a conversation, just vent. It's great. This person is going to listen to all your bitching and help you get your brain in a better place. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/SGPN today to get 10% off your first month. That's BETTRHELP.com/SGPN.
Yeah, chat is yelling at us that, of course, Sean's right. The Colts are the play because they've been in London for 2 weeks. Was that a part of your handicap?
I don't think that helps. I know Jags came back and got the win. That was close. Again, my trend of teams coming back from London
would
be
Falcons.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Of teams coming back from London will be trailing at some point in the fourth quarter. That did come true in that game. They ended up getting the win in the cover, although it was really close to the spread. Especially 2-week trip.
But that was a good game. Like both teams played well. It wasn't like they won a shitty. They got lucky. I thought they looked good. Like I would say that they didn't look like a team that was sluggish.
So we have all these trends. We have all these data. To me, like I like to match up trends that make sense as a good handicapper that fit my narrative. And this Jags team, when dealing with expectations, especially at home,
it's
come
fair.
up short.
That would be if you asked me what was my biggest concern about this.
Trevor Lawrence plays well when there is no pressure, right? And there was a ton of pressure in that first half of that playoff game. Then he threw 4 interceptions and the game was completely over. Oh, hey, now I can play loose and free. I think being a 4-point favorite with this opportunity for this division game, you're looking ahead towards Thursday night. Having 2 London games coming back with the Thursday night game on deck, it's a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's a field goal game.
All right. Minshew maybe Minshew's not good. That's the only that would be what I'm leaning on a little bit. All right. Panthers, another back-to-back road spot here. And I did I list Frank Reich when I gave out those first coach to be fired?
What he was saying about the owner, if you saw that clip,
he's not listed in the odds I'm looking at.
It was very weird because he's like, some places the owner like lets you do your thing, but this owner has a lot of power. We have a lot of conversations. They're not comfortable, but I trust that they make me better. It was a very weird press conference.
They and later on in that same press conference, you see it up on the screen, but
Ryan, and sorry, just to go back to Gardner Minshew.
Oh wow.
Danger Aaron saying swing your sword. We just saw a Bigfoot sighting. If there is any time to back Gardner Minshew, it has to be right after a viral video of definitely Bigfoot wandering around his surfaces. That is a sign for Mike Leach AKA the Great Pirate in the Sky, telling us to go and youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. If you can't see Bigfoot, it's probably because he blends in so well with the camo.
I got to be honest. The funniest thing is the first comment on the video that I saw this on posted. It would basically, why does everyone Zoom stop working when they find Bigfoot?
Yeah.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's
how
like,
can you not zoom in more?
wait,
What's going on?
Where are the other videos from the people on this? Anyway,
yeah, how come the entire train didn't see Bigfoot wandering around? I'm not going to ask those questions. I just know a sign when I see one, Ryan.
So later on in that same press conference that you're referencing, where the conversation about ownership happens, quote: "Every coach would tell you when you're 0-5, what's the answer? Do more? No, the answer is do less." What the fuck does that mean, Frank?
Yeah, I.
Is this why the Colts underperformed all these years? Maybe
he's got to give up play calling duty. And he had even announced that there's just been weird dynamics from this Panthers team from the beginning. Shout out to all the Panthers fans that apologized to me for picking them to be the last winless team. Oh wait, no one has reached out.
That's been, and shout out to the, like I was surprised to find that was paid out. Didn't have to wait till the end of the season.
Panthers are the worst team against the run, 32nd in rush defensive DVOA, setting up like a big Raheem Mostert game. Our boy Devin Achan. Shout out to everyone else in the media who doesn't take 2 seconds to. Not that I'm the pronunciation police by any means, but he explained it's Devin Achan. Like it's. I don't know why
people were making fun of him that he let people know how to say his.
Yeah,
name.
that's
a weird take.
It's not a big deal. It seems like
he's like, hey. I scored 4 touchdowns, motherfuckers.
Yeah, now you're gonna pronounce my name right.
Well, yeah, I don't even think I finished saying the odds for this one.
Sorry.
Miami, another public side for them. Not surprising. Laying 13.5 here, -800 on the money line, 550 for the Panthers. 48.5 is the total. We do expect there to be some Florida weather, saying some scattered thunderstorms and decent wind. So that it was interesting to see that. Probably not a good thing for Bryce Young. But Dolphins should have beaten the Giants by more points. I think that's probably an accurate take. But the people, my new favorite thing is when I hear someone say something like this. Well, they got that pick 6, so that was basically like, I mean, that should have been like 14 points the other way. It's like, well, sure, I understand that was a 14-point swing, but you also can't just be like, well, that's not going to happen when it's Tua. And he then went on later in the same game to throw an equally horrible interception.
Yeah, Tua has some Tua-y moments. Had some against the Giants. They still got the cover. To me, if you're making a case for the Panthers, and it's tough to make that case, it's just the historicness of being a back-to-back double-digit favorite. It's tough for teams like the Dolphins to cover that. Teams who are back-to-back double-digit favorites in previous games, last 20 years, if they covered the first game, 37% covering the second time.
Well, that makes sense.
Just because it's human nature. It's hard to get up for these big blowouts, and the Dolphins have a look ahead spot possibly to the Eagles.
Yes,
if
definitely.
If you're up 17 points, are you going to be keeping in Raheem Mostert? Are you going to be keeping in 2? Are you going to keep trying to chase and run up the score? The other side is the Dolphins, even without Devin Achan, have a tremendous amount of speed.
Jeff Wilson's back.
Like they're a very, very fast team, and them breaking big plays against this Panthers defense, which is lethargic. It's banged up.
They're very banged up.
Bryce Young just looks lost out there as far as putting up offensive points.
They're also in the market for a wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Oh man, this is tough because I almost want to take the Panthers, but that feels like a little too cute.
Sean, here's a fun trivia question for you. What year was it last time the Dolphins were double-digit favorites in back-to-back weeks?
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be like Dan Marino time, right?
1995. Dan Marino. End of his career, I guess, but
yeah.
Yeah. Look. Perfect timing. Jeff Wilson. I mean, we almost joked about this all. Like Jeff Wilson was going to come back off the IR when one of the other running backs got hurt. Like clockwork, it happens. I think that's the whole point of their running back room. They have a whole bunch of guys that are fast and fragile, and figure a couple of guys will be healthy at any given time. I know the number moved up. So here's where I'm at when it comes to my claim earlier about market dynamics. We were getting a discount on the Jags. We were getting a nice price on the Browns. We were getting a discount on the Vikings. We're getting a nice price on the Panthers here, according to the market. But I would say that not so fast. This Panthers team is almost unbettable.
Yeah. As an eye test gut handicapper, I'm just gonna think about if. And I probably won't actually get down on this game because it just feels like Miami is too set up to take their foot off the gas. But if we're watching this game Sunday at 11:30, halfway through, am I going to be mad that I bet on the Panthers or mad that I bet on the Dolphins? I'm going mad that I bet on the Dolphins. There's certain the back door, maybe is around, but I'm going Dolphins.
If you're in let's just say you're in a second chance survivor pool that starts this week.
Yeah.
So every team's available. Are you like Miami or Kansas City more?
I would have to look at the rest of the schedule and see when I want to burn them. But
Miami would be pretty hard to pass up this week.
True.
Carolina is only going to get better.
We got a couple
at some point. Carolina is going to make a change and they're going to start to get better.
Yeah.
But right now they're broken. All right, let's move over to the afternoon slate. 105 on the West Coast. The Patriots.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
They return to the scene of the crime out in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Raiders coming off Monday Night Football. Nice win there. Again, Mark Davis excited to be collecting his lady at the airport, playing little slots. Watching his slot receiver, Jacoby Myers, cash my first touchdown. Now they're laying 3 here. Look at it was 1.5. Market dynamics alert. -165 on the money line. Patriots +135. 41.5 is the total. Patriots are a close your eyes special. Patriots are returning to the scene of the most hilarious play.
Oh my God, I forgot about
memory.
that.
And the player who initiated it all has changed sides. Full Benedicting here. Belichick versus former assistants, blah blah blah. I didn't even mention it, but the Raiders are catching all the action to this point.
Yeah. So
we have to take the Patriots, Sean.
We do, and thankfully that's the Close Your Eyes special making this decision for us because I would not want to be on the Raiders. I don't want to be on the Patriots, but the fact that it's Close Your Eyes special makes it a little easier. I asked you this. I know he got a lot of grief, a lot of guff when it was last year, but could it be that Joe Judge was the secret to the Patriots offense? I know everyone goes, oh, hey, once they get a real offensive coordinator, Billy O'Brien, they've looked horrific on offense. They've gotten outscored 72-3 their last 2 games. It is just really, really bad. I mean, just slide Joe Judge over there. Get him behind the controls.
Well, I do have a note. Patrick Graham coordinated Joe Judge's defense for the Giants.
Okay.
Patrick Graham, now the defensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Is that good or bad?
Good.
Okay.
I think that I think they're going to be able to operate an offense against. I think you're going to see a lot of basic ass shit with the running backs and the tight ends. And I think it's going to be lame ass, boring football. I understand why the number is short of 42. Certainly an under or nothing game, not a totals guy. But I watched that game last week, and maybe I have a little, subjective bias here. But come on, Raiders had no business winning last week. This feels like the same spot, and the Patriots were embarrassed here with that. Mac Jones was. Do you remember his ass trying to tackle Chandler Jones? Yeah, that was the funniest shit we saw outside of the Zeke play last year.
The Patriots have gotten embarrassed a lot lately. This is kind of Belichick's last stand. I guess if you're making a case for the Patriots, you could point out the Cowboys and Saints, who they got worked by, did have pretty good defenses. Number 5 for the Saints, DVOA. Cowboys number 8. if you're trying to, and don't interpret it as a compliment of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just saying if you're trying to make some excuses for why the Patriots have looked so bad.
Also, defensive touchdowns have been involved in those.
Yeah,
those
if he can
score
just
lines.
if he could just not throw a defensive pick six, maybe they get through this all right. I think in a weird way, this is good that they went on the road because no one's going to be booing them if things get off to a slow start.
You don't think? You don't think the Chowderheads made the trip? I've heard this take that Patriots fans are so entitled that they wouldn't make a trip to Vegas. Are you stupid? They fucking love
It's a baby
an excuse
fucking
to go
wheel,
to Vegas
man.
with the boys.
Well, they probably already got their tickets.
That's my point.
Is cousin Mush going, Ryan?
No, actually, cousin Mush will be out for the Giants game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe pick. I mean, either way, it was a horrible game. But yeah, I'm shocked to hear people think that they're not going to be a ton of Patriots fans at this game. That's a crazy take to me because I think if anyone from the Northeast has an excuse to come to Vegas for an away game, you're doing it. Period. You like to drink. You like to party.
Yep.
You like to watch your football team. Don't tell me the Patriots fans are too entitled to show up. Patriots +3 all day. Also a teaser. So, maybe we don't tease.
No, you don't need to tease Mac Jones. He's
All right.
horrible as a dog.
Another 105 on the West Coast. Detroit, the Lions heading to Tampa. Don't know anything about Dan Campbell's strip club game. Bucks coming off the bye. They are catching 3 at home, +140 on the money line. Lions -165. 43.5 is the total. I mean, what's not to like about the spot for the Bucks here? Lions riding high, smelling themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch didn't practice. I don't think Gibbs being out makes much of a difference, but
Branch does.
I do think Branch does. Amon-Ra limited for them. Bucks
sounds like he's gonna play though.
Okay, yeah, I would probably guess that as well. Bucks pass defense, second in defensive DVOA. Their defense overall is number 6. I think their defense is pretty good. And you have a week, coming off the bye, figure out some stuff with Baker. Lions just lost their cornerback Emmanuel Mosley. He's out for the season. The thing that is really slowing me down is, did you see Mike Evans didn't play because of the hamstring, or sorry, didn't practice today on Wednesday because of the hamstring.
Are we sure it wasn't a rest thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they
a lot of times Wednesday you'll have just like, so Darren Waller, he was on the injury report with a groin injury. It was a rest with he's not missing the game. I got the sense that the Mike Evans thing was similar. I'll dive in while you continue.
Okay. Cause there's a video of him working on the side, practicing with the team, or sorry, like working off the sideline with the trainer. He did a brief jog. I don't know. If Mike Evans doesn't play, I'm feel way worse about this game. The fact that it's hanging at 3 or that he even got bet down, to me makes me think Mike Evans is playing. Cause I think if Mike Evans doesn't play, that's huge because he's such a big part of their offense.
I mean, Trey Palmer, Godwin, Cade Otton. I don't know if it's a death sentence if he's not out there. I do think that they've had some time to prepare without him, right? That this is now coming out of a bye week. I do think based on some of the, again, I said we shouldn't be listening to these people, but the internet doctors, they say it's very common for someone to be coming off an injury and still get some sort of rest day on that initial Wednesday. So nothing to be overly concerned about. But yeah, I mean, I like them less if he's out there, but is he worth anything on the number, Sean? Probably not.
I would say like a half point because he's such a big part of their offense.
This was 3.5 in the summer.
Yeah.
Is that right for it to only be 3 now?
Well, so I guess for me,
both teams have gotten better than I think expected.
Yeah. So I think the market price sees both teams, like you said, better than expected. I was high on the Bucks coming in, and probably lower than I should have been on the Lions. I didn't think this Lions defense would be as good as it has been, but I think going on the road, not coming off a bye, dealing with these injuries, I think that's enough for me to take the Bucks here as a home dog. But yeah. I'll be bummed if Mike Evans doesn't play.
You are a big Mike Evans guy, but maybe that's a big Godwin.
He's having a
game.
good season.
Maybe it's a big Godwin game then. Yeah, I love the spot coming off the bye, and I think we didn't really mention it much, but I kind of like the matchup where Todd Bowles in this defense against Jared Goff on the road here.
Yeah,
could be some moisture in the air. Jared Goff, small hands, ball's going whoop.
a little slippery
When wet. Jared Goff Island is slippery when wet. Real estate popping off over there right now. Just kidding. It's all boarded up. 125 on the West Coast. The Cardinals head to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Rams catching a lot of action here. Look ahead was 4.5. Believe it opened up at something like 4.5, 5, and got bet up to 7. -325 on the money line for the Rams. Arizona +260. 48.5 is the total. This is a big. I feel like we have to say this is a big number for this Rams team to be laying.
Oh, disagree. I think this is a low number. I think the Rams put it on them. I think the Rams whooped the Cardinals. Rams have owned the Cardinals under McVay. 10-2-1 ATS the last 13. I saw that Rams team in person last week. I think if it wasn't for them playing an elite defense like the Eagles,
I mean, you're fluffing, you're gassing them up, as they say.
Arizona 30th in pass DVOA. They lost James Conner, which is kind of the heart and soul of that offense and an emotional leader. I think that's going to really be tough on them. This is another week where you figured out what you can do with Puka and Kupp. Stafford, another week removed from his hip bruise. He's not going to be facing the crazy pressure that he felt against the Eagles in the second half of that game. I think this is just the Cardinals are above their head. They're a team that lacks a ton of talent, and you want to talk about division. Rams have won 11 the last 14, and those are even like Those are even like Kyler playing pretty decent games. I think this is going.
Josh Dobbs is playing
right.
He's better than Kyler.
Okay, I mean, I like Josh Dobbs. I like him. He's been frisky as a dog. I was off them last week. I'm off them again this week. I think this is just. Yeah, I think they're good. Rams are going to win by double digits.
I mean, I think basically the angle is, well, the Cardinals are cooked for whatever reason. People are holding on. They haven't come close to covering.
They remember the
friskiness
weeks. Of them only losing by 19 to San Francisco.
Well, it's all those former divisional foes, right?
Yeah. Now that he doesn't have although I don't think the Eagles played the Rams, at least not last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's some history there, right? Was Gannon on the no, maybe he wasn't. Yeah, I think the number again.
Cardinals lost by 14 at home to the Bengals, lost by 19 to the Rams, beat the Cowboys. That was awesome. Lost to the Giants, which that looks like a really bad loss now in hindsight.
Really bad.
Only lost to the Commanders by 4. I think they were getting a little steamed up, and I do think they exceeded expectations early on. I think Gannon had a really good playbook, but I feel good about McVay in this matchup and the offense. I think Cooper Kupp. I think Stafford, now that he has both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, is going to really eat here.
Yeah, I do worry about laying this number, and I would even go back to the Cardinals Bengals game.
But you were just making fun of people for.
No, I'm not trying to say like the game should have been closer, but that really did change the game, and I think this is now a couple weeks in a row where something has happened, and once the Cardinals spirit was broken, they just went away.
And I imagine something similar happens here.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm getting to. I think maybe if you like the Cardinals, you look to them in the first half, but it does seem like now 2 weeks in a row. You know what? I guess you go 3 weeks. Well, throw out the Cowboys game because their spirit somehow was broken against the Giants too, and so there's a decent sample size of 3 games. Yeah,
them falling apart in the second half,
where you just see them completely crater in these games, and so yeah,
and James Conner, he's a big part of that team.
That kid looked good. I know their news was being made because Ingram is listed as the starting running back now, but that DeMarcado guy looked like he had some pop. So I don't think that this team is DOA. They still have Ertz and Trey McBride, who was getting going last week, and Hollywood's been playing better. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm laying the points. I was saying all that to say like this is where I'm going against my market dynamics. Fucking which we'll see. Last week it burned me when I didn't obey the market in a Cardinals game.
Hey, have you signed up for Underdog Fantasy? If you're not, what are you doing, man? The pick'em is so fun. Kramer and I just did an episode with the Best Ball Draft Resurrection, aka Best Ball 2.0 mid-season. It's Underdog's the best. Great way to cash in. Those Scorchers are so fun. If you go 5 for 5 on Scorchers and you get in those multipliers, you can get it all the way up to 100x. Just a fun game. So fun to throw a couple bucks on those. All of a sudden the game gets super, super interesting. 100% deposit match up to $500. It's a limited time. They won't even tell me how long they're going to keep this going. They want to create some urgency, but it could be tomorrow. Who knows? Get that sweet deposit bonus. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Love Hall of Fame Bets. Love their parlay optimizer. Kramer is a guy who digs into the numbers. First touchdown. It's fun to just hit that deep data button and you instantly see, hey, how many touchdowns have they scored? How many games have they gotten over 35 yards? They do all the heavy lifting for you. Let the nerds do the dirty work. You don't need to be sitting there with your abacus trying to figure out everything. Let them do all the heavy lifting. Got the Hall of Fame Bets app on my phone right now. Love that thing. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets.
All right. What we got? One more afternoon game happens to be your Philadelphia Eagles driving up the turnpike.
Go Birds.
Take on the New York Football Jets. Eagles, no surprise here. Even though they're on the back-to-back road spot, they're catching all the action. Spot. Well, of course, it's a bus ride. They're not. Do they fly or they drive?
I don't even know if it's possible to fly.
Yeah, it would be way
fly
more.
Philly Airport to New York Airport.
Just drive. Trust me. There is expected to be some rain and wind. I don't think the wind is going to be impactful. Maybe the water is. Since we first started looking at this, Sean, and having the debate about Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, I would say I'm no longer concerned about weather impacting this one from a fantasy perspective. Eagles laying 7 minus 285 on the money line. Jets plus 230. 41 is the total. I'm assuming this was a tough decision for you, being that you got to experience a lovely weekend with Zach Wilson in the mountains, cashing tickets out there in Denver.
You know,
Bigfoot right around the corner.
I mean, you could talk yourself into the Jets as a home dog, but
no, you couldn't.
Not with the Elijah Vera Tucker news. If you missed it, Elijah Vera Tucker, aka their good offensive lineman, which they've had issues with their offensive line. Mekhi Becton's up and down. They've had injuries, but Elijah Vera Tucker is their guy. Now he's out for the entire season. Right tackle was a good draft pick for them. One of the few they haven't completely fucked up. When you lose a tackle like that and you're facing this Eagles pass rush, you are going to get destroyed. I just don't see how Hassan Reddick doesn't eat against a backup tackle. Jalen Carter, of course, I keep tagging in all the amazing Jalen Carter stuff. He's having an amazing year. He's like leading the league in defensive tackle pressures.
Yeah, I said he's totally killing it out there.
Oh, okay. Well, you went out your way to keep insulting him. I didn't know if you would.
He's murdering it.
He's doing a great job, Ryan.
He's killing it.
He is. Jets second worst in the league with rush yards allowed to the quarterback. We saw Jalen Hurts get a little frisky there running the ball. Seems like whatever was slowing him down, quarterback rushing wise, he's figured that out. Getting back to the tush push because it becomes an issue.
They failed finally.
For who?
At the end of the game, they failed.
Who?
The Eagles.
What?
They didn't get it.
When?
They ran a tush push on like a 2-yard play towards the end of the game.
Oh, they were trying to run the clock out.
Yeah, they didn't get it. I'm just saying they failed.
This is great. A quote, as if they don't have to worry about enough. The Jets now must prepare for the Eagles' unorthodox and somewhat controversial quarterback sneak.
Controversial.
What is unorthodox about a quarterback sneak? He hikes the ball and he moves forward, and people are like, "Oh, but the pushing." Kenny Gainwell going like this to Jalen Hurts is not why the tush push is successful. This from like the guys pushing Jalen Hurts, it reminds me of my wife when we're trying to like move a couch. It's like, okay, look, I'm helping. It's not the reason the couch is getting moved. The couch is getting moved because of Jason Kelce, the offensive line. They actually practice quarterback sneaks. I'm no longer referring it as the tush push. It's a stupid name. It's a quarterback sneak. It's one of the original
I'm
NFL
glad you're not
plays.
saying brotherly shove either. That was.
It's a quarterback sneak.
Yeah, there you go.
And Coach Robert Saleh, if the quarterback carries the ball, we've got to give him 11 kisses. What does that mean, Robert Saleh? I have no idea.
11 people to the ball. I like that.
Okay, cool. It works because Jalen Hurts is good at picking angles and he squats 600 pounds. And they actually practice it. They brought in a rugby guy. They said, "Hey, this is how quarterback sneaks work." They actually practice it. Almost all other teams don't practice it.
I would say that Jalen Hurts squatting 600 pounds is not the most important thing. If you watch the play, you want a breakdown. Maybe I'll do a film breakdown and throw it up on YouTube.
No, I agree. It's not.
If you watch, what happens is much like I'm watching currently the Rugby World Cup is going on, so I've been watching a lot of rugby. But there's a lot of
they brought in a rugby guy.
Well, and there's a lot of similarities to the way that a scrum will start, and what you see that's very distinct is the way that the initial impact that the center and two guards, so Kelce and the two guards, make is actually ahead. The tackles, if you watch, they take a pause because their goal is to, much like in rugby, they're actually getting behind a little bit the guards to kind of create this inward pressure where they're pushing, which then allows, no matter what happens with Kelce, because if you watch him in the play, his face is basically on the fucking ground. He's like, I'm going lower than you. Well, no. So once he's under, he's a wedge. And so by then the two tackles, Lane and Mailata, then producing a little bit of pressure along with Hurts and his 600-yard squat causes the whole thing to collapse forward. And then, yeah, it's just about taking the right angle. I do think it matters to have the guys behind you pushing and knowing how to push. I actually think that's the biggest thing. You watch the Eagles do it, and they've actually practiced pushing another man from behind. These other teams, it's like it's very strange. I will say they're grown men, and they couldn't look sillier. So yeah, a long breakdown, but yeah, I think it's well played. Shouldn't be illegal, and you're really just crying if you want to make it illegal. You can't take the Jets here.
No. The Eagles #1 in rush defensive DVOA. So if you're thinking like, oh, Breece Hall's going to run all over him, I don't see how that happens.
The only way
maybe the Eagles are looking ahead to the Dolphins or something like that. But this team, for the most part, is pretty focused and pretty dialed in. Maybe the Jets backdoor. I
no
think
sauce. Did we even mention that?
No. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be huge. How does this Jets team move the ball without that offensive line? I love the matchup of the Eagles defense against the Jets.
If you had to guess, what would you guess the Jets defensive DVOA is right now in rank 1 through 32?
The Jets are interesting because they're kind of seen as a team that's having a good defense, but like the advanced numbers aren't quite as favorable. I think their defense I would guess like 18th.
It's 15th. It's
right
middle of the pack.
Yeah.
It's not spectacular. It's certainly not good enough to be able to go toe to toe with again, we've spoken
rare
about this.
Breed,
the top of the NFL and is so separated from even the middle class. This is suggesting that the Jets are middle class, which they're not. They're not with Zach Wilson.
No.
And they're coming off a win. So I would imagine Zach
Wilson. So many
Wilson,
great reasons to fade him.
I mean, Zach Wilson, though, his career wins are up to 11 now, which Justin Fields may never
nipping
catch
at
him.
his heels.
Same draft class. What an amazing, Trevor Lawrence is him, I guess. All right. Sunday Night Football, Sean. What do they do? Why did they do this? Why Daddy Dayball comes back to Buffalo.
The fact that Giants fans are still this hard on Dayball is honestly. I'm not trying to troll or make a joke, is confusing.
Who's hard on him?
Oh, I haven't heard any Giants fans, Giants media be super critical of Brian Daboll, call for his job. Like if this was happening to the Eagles, there would be.
You want to be like a whiny baby, and every time something shiny goes by your face, you want to scream. What do you want?
No,
I told you I have lots of question about his roster decision.
This isn't you. I'm just in general. If this was happening in the city of Philadelphia,
people are definitely,
they would be calling for him to get fired. I guess I'm not seeing that in my Giants.
I think that if I was making a pie chart on who's to blame, right, 100% of people want the offensive line coach fired.
Yeah.
100%. After that, the special teams coach also 100% want him fired. I would say Kafka, not a ton of people seeming to want to blame him, but a number of people have popped their heads up with the Dable's a fraud. Dable's a fraud. Like that's not
okay. I guess I'm not as dialed in, obviously, to
and maybe the mainstream. You just have the fact that he's the coach of the year. You all voted for it, so you don't want to look like idiots. You probably have a little of that, right?
Well, they spend so much hyping him up, they're not going to instantly start tearing him down.
But I also, you could have a nice conversation with yourself about whose fault this is. I mean, the nature of the offense is broken due to the fact that the roster didn't have offensive line support once again. Surprised that an injury would cause the problem. The film bros would tell you that somehow Dan Jones might have played his best game of the year last week, and they still failed to score an offensive touchdown. The neck injury is not the same as last time, so it sounds like he's going to play. And for as banged up as the Giants are, which comically banged up, basically everyone's on the injury report.
Well, and you mentioned the offensive line in practice today. The Giants were only able to field 6 offensive linemen.
Yeah. Like I said,
from the 53-man roster,
comically banged up.
That's kind of funny.
And one of them is Justin Pugh coming off an ACL.
Pew.
Yeah.
Giants have lost 5 of their last 6 games by 18 points or more. On the other side, I do
Bill's
think
defense is wrecked.
Matt Milano, if you remember, I think it was maybe a couple years ago. I feel like we were on that trend of like Matt Milano when they lost him or when he was out, that really set bad vibes for this Bills team. And Tre'Davious White, of course, being out, maybe that was part of the reason they lost to the Jags. You'd imagine Bills at home Sunday night game. They will coming off a loss. They will get up for this game. To me, this pick is decided who is going to be the Giants quarterback, because Tyrod Taylor in a revenge game playing his brand of ball.
Oh, I think Jones is playing.
Okay, that's unfortunate. I mean, for me, picking the Giants.
I mean, I think it's. I mean, I don't think there's. I'm surprised people are suggesting there's question around that. First of all,
okay. Now, is there a chance he gets benched?
Maybe. Sure. I mean, this is a big game for Dable. He's coming home. He's got to show McDermott what's up.
He's not practicing though, right?
He didn't practice today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about Andrew Thomas? Is he out? Do we expect?
He's probably a coin flip at this point.
Saquon, does
Barkley
he want to play?
Probably in.
Probably. Okay.
Probably in. I think a number of the guys who are currently not practicing have a chance to get back.
John Michael Schmitz.
I think he has a chance to get back.
Okay.
Like I said, I think a lot. Azeez Ojulari, he can go on the boat trip with the concrete necklace.
Well,
he
and then
just gets hurt every other.
And chalk Bills up to that team that coming back from Atlanta and coming back from London and not taking any time off.
I don't think we have to. I think we can stop bringing that up because obviously teams have figured out that it's not worth wasting your bye early in the season just because you have an international game.
See, I would if I was the. I guess it's still a little early, but
these teams are opting out of a bye here.
Yeah,
all of these teams have opted out. Like teams are requesting these like strange. It's strange to see that they're requesting this, but they must know, right? They must know what they're doing. Bills also played like shit. So are they going to have a bounce back effort on the offensive side of the ball? Josh Allen probably has said things like, I need to do better.
Darren Waller, is he going to play?
Again, yeah, he's fine. He'll be playing. It's being reported widely that he's expecting to play. Was more of a vet rest day coming off his best game of the season.
We've gone all this way. I mean, the Kirk Cousins narrative, Daniel Jones in prime time. He's what, 1-12 straight up.
Yeah. Then you should lay the points.
It's tough. I was trying to
lay the points, Sean.
I was talking.
You know what you're doing.
I was going to talk myself into Giants plus 14.
It's Giants are on a back-to-back road spot. No chance.
It is a horrible spot
coming up from Miami, all that humidity.
As a guy who's in the circa millions, I'll be rooting for the Giants to pull off an insane victory. But yeah, I guess I'll go Bills here. You worry that maybe they take the foot off the gas. This Giants offense, man, it's so inept. It's tough to imagine where they get to a point and that the tackling is so bad on the Giants side. I mean, Ryan, are you taking the Giants?
The way you talk yourself into it is that once again you can focus on how the Giants defense gave up a lot of yardage.
Yeah.
Or you can look at the fact that the Giants defense and specifically Wink Martindale's style started to create some problems for a quarterback that has been known to turn the ball over. So the case for the Giants is, well,
Josh Allen's pretty good against the blitz historically.
Sure. Just like Tua's typically pretty good against the blitz. I think it's not about the way that it's not about Wink blitzing you more than it is confusing you and tricking you into something and dictating the decision you're making. And so if he can be a little bit confusing, I do think the Giants have, in the plays where they don't give up the 80-yard big plays, they have been playing pretty well. Specifically, the defensive backs have been disruptive at times. Again, when they're not getting beat horribly, that's the problem. They also get beat horribly. And then on the other side, I think just having the Bills are at I would imagine what will be relative low point in terms of the health. And they like you said, they don't have to keep the foot on the gas, and the Giants are able to wiggle their way in. The case against it is that they haven't been able to score points, and to cover a spread like this, you probably need to score points. There could be a little bit of weather in this one. I don't think it's going to be too impactful. I don't know. Barkley being back probably is the thing that matters the most in terms of the Giants having a chance, because he's been the only thing that's mattered in terms of their offense over the last couple seasons. Final answer. Final comment. I'll take the points, I guess. I don't really
confident play.
I do kind of want to take Buffalo -14, but I can't lay all the big numbers. Feel like a donkey like you. I think you laid all the biggest numbers.
Yeah.
You really did.
Yeah.
You laid a 10.5, a 13.5, a 14, 2 sevens. Nice work, Sean.
Thanks.
Dallas.
I took Cleveland +7. I took Tennessee.
This Monday night game is just filthy. Dallas,
I got another dog I like here.
Back to back road spots. They would have been a close your eyes special, but they're laying points on the road. Chargers coming off the bye.
Eckler's back. That's huge.
Chargers looking ahead to a game against Kansas City.
It's not good.
On deck. Catching 2 points at home, +110 on the money line. Dallas -130, 50.5 is the total. This sucks.
Herbert dealing with that broken finger. I mean,
this sucks.
It's one of those things. I like the Chargers more if Dallas wasn't coming off a embarrassing ass whooping. But also, do we know? Did they stay on the West Coast? Did they do some team bonding? Did they buy each other some luggage?
There's no way that they would have any awareness to that. They do training camp out in Oxnard. Maybe they went there,
hang out in Oxnard, score some meth. Man, the Cowboys really do struggle against good and or decent teams. The question is, are the Chargers a good or decent team? Oh man, it's close. Herbert dealing with that broken finger. He is coming off the bye. You imagine it's okay, but I think they're going to be able to move the ball against this Cowboys team. And in the same way you saw some of the running backs get loose, the tight end get loose. I think those are good matchups for the Chargers. And I think Austin Eckler could hit the ground running, and I think they're going to be able to move the ball against this Cowboys team. And Dak Prescott is a turnover machine. I know he said he wasn't going to throw double-digit interceptions, but look out, because he's on pace.
Stronger trend. Fade the Chargers at home, or fade the Cowboys, period.
Fade the Cowboys, period, Ryan. That's pretty obvious.
We're going to get, what's going to happen.
Cowboys will win by 1 and Chargers will cover.
We're going to get broken hearted. Yeah.
Will Decker be watching the game with us?
Oh, I don't.
Could go either way. He usually likes to hang out during the.
It's weird. Josh has taken the Cowboys multiple times this season.
Yeah.
Really disturbing.
That is a disgusting act.
Yeah, this would be the time to take the Cowboys if I didn't have a soul. Give me the Chargers plus
Chargers
2.
plus 2.
And you know what, Sean? Happy to. You're probably gonna want to go first. The lock dog. I want to change it.
Time for the lock dog tease. Well, do we feel like that was a good week last week, Ryan?
Yeah, I hit a bunch of fucking first touchdowns. I hit a sick ass same game parlay. Pretty rock hard. You hit some locks.
Oh yeah, 2-0 my locks.
But we can mix it up.
Hit my dog and my tease.
New,
That's all
you want me to call for new dice? New dice. Same dice. Same dice.
First lock, LA Rams -7. That feels pretty good.
Really?
Dog. There's a couple teams that are talking to me here.
Chalky.
It's tough to take some of these bigger dogs. I mean, maybe Cleveland. They're kind of frisky, but
are they?
I don't know. I like this Bucs team. I was high on them coming in the season. They've been good to me. I'll take the Tampa Bay Bucs plus 140. Nice sized dog there. Medium sized dog. My other lock. You could also take the Patriots. For a lock. Oh, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
I do like the Bengals. Washington is a close your eyes special. Titans I like. You were very anti it for the Ravens. Kind of makes me like it a hair bit more. New England +3. Dare I do it? I don't know. Tampa Bay +3.
Dude, live your life.
Yeah. All right. I'm living. Bears is lock potential.
I'd be fine if you wanted to lock up the Eagles this week.
That's
that'd be such maximum pain either way.
Yeah.
Can't lose to Zach Wilson.
It's true.
Imagine if you had blood on your hands with the Zach Wilson loss.
I haven't locked up the Eagles. They're 5-0. I don't think I can do that, Ryan.
Okay.
Indy +4.
Yeah, I mean, you also like
I'll go
like
Houston.
Okay.
I'll go Houston +1.5.
Okay.
I think I like fading that Saints team off a big win ultimately. So for my tease, give me tease is pretty easy. I can put the Eagles in the tease down to -1.
Very easy. There's some good legs this week.
There are. I can take Washington up to 8.5. That feels fairly safe.
Does seem safe, but it also seems terrifying.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with it. And then last leg of the tease, take the Colts +10. Kramer, I'll see you.
Wow, I didn't see that coming. Lock Bengals.
Shoot from the hip on my tease.
Lock Bengals -3.
Yeah, I like that. That was close to being a lock too.
Lock Jags -4.
Oh God.
Actually, no. Scratch that. Scratch the record. Let the record show. I'm going to London. Give me the Ravens -4.5. No, you're right. Go back. Jags -4. Never second guess yourself. Tease. Rams -1. Eagles -1. Yeah, it's either Commanders 8.5 or it's what Texans. Well, let's go Commanders 8.5. That's a lot of points for the Falcons. Dog.
Josh does like Titans on the money line. He's got Cincinnati and Tampa Bay as his locks. He's been doing pretty good in the Circa Millions. I don't want to go too deep on it because I don't want to jinx him. But
you kind of just. Let's see for the dog. Do you go big dog, small dog?
Dog.
It's your life, Ryan.
Big dog, small dog. I'm asking you a question.
Big dog.
Big dog. Oh, do I really want to fade the Niners? No, I can't do it. Small dog alert. Revenge is had.
Gardner Minshew?
No.
Oh, okay.
Belichick.
Yeah, I do like Pats on the money
Pats
line.
+135.
All right, for our Circus Survivor, Ryan, what does the sheet say we're gonna do?
Well, before the season,
Yep.
when we filled this out, we said, "Oh, this is the week we take Kansas City hosting Denver." At the time, Sean, the number was 7.5. It's now 10.5. So it seems like it's still smart. We sticking with it. No pivot.
Yeah, I mean, just Mahomes' dominance over the Broncos in particular. How bad? I mean, the Broncos were way worse than we even thought coming into the season.
The reason to not play them would be to save them for another spot later in the season. They are playing on Christmas. But yeah, I don't know. We have already taken Buffalo. We've already taken Miami. So those games aren't available to us. I don't know if I would love the idea of taking the Rams, although that would be a potential pivot. Also, we kind of want to save the Eagles to later, but they're a potential play to me, and then the Jags would be a potential play to me. But you don't seem like you're in on the Jags, so I think we just lock in with the Chiefs.
All right,
keep it rolling, Sean.
Circus Survivor.
Our entry is worth $5,000 now because over 80% are out.
It's not it or zero. It's either worth 0 or 9 million.
Okay. It's fun to track it along the way.
Yeah, sure. All right, so we're playing our locks. Cincy -3, Jags -4 for you, Rams -7, Houston +1.5 for me. Then what do we like for the fifth play? I think we play the close your eyes special, New England, but I also like Tampa.
I could go either way. Here's what I would. The Lions potentially are really good. I know the Raiders aren't good.
Yeah.
And
we do have the close your eyes special.
Yeah, let's play the. You think it'll be 3? If it's gonna be a full 3 too. So
New England +3.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
All righty. Hey, that was a fun episode of Sports Gambling Podcast. Again, get in on the $3,000 second chance survivor. You can sign up now. It officially starts week 7. Brought to you by Corey Pinkston, Barking Dog Productions, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor.
Dog.
Get in over there.
Dog.
Oh wait.
Which, by the way, I was listening to. Shout out to the NFL Gambling Podcast guys. Was listening to their show, and I heard the intro music, and it's you going AJ Brown, dog. So shout out to those guys for putting Sean Stack in the
money. Always appreciate the shout out. And of course, Friday night, VSiN, 9:00 Pacific. Got some great guests, great segments lined up. Tune in, YouTube TV, VSiN.com. Use the betting splits all the time. When we talk about the betting splits, we get those over at VSiN. So check those out.
That's also where you can find winning last touchdown bets if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yes. And of course, that shirt that Kramer's wearing, if you want to win that as part of the hippie prize pack, great work on the Photoshop team with Bill Walton. Comparing, they even have the same expression on their face. YouTube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Get in on the hippie prize pack.
Yes.
All you got to do is sign up for our Patreon. An amazing hippie prize pack graphic.
Really, just top notch.
Thank you for participating.
This might be the best thing that Josh has ever created.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Can't believe week 6 is already here, Sean.
Kramer, let it ride.